I was told I'm elitist recently. Am I really though? I'm just picky, okay? I'm not an asshole. I think. But for me to be able to really enjoy an anime or a manga thoroughly, it has to be a certain way. Everyone has their own tastes, right? And although I consider myself picky, don't get me wrong, I wish I could devour some good old shitty fillers and whatever that dirty isekai hell factory mass produces and spits out into the anime sewers seemingly every other week. But goddammit, no! I'm drawing a line. Most anime and manga aren't up to my standard, but I'm not saying I have a better taste than anyone else either, because I don't. I think I have a pretty bad taste. It's just really limited. And I'm doing my best, alright? I'm giving all the shows a 3 to 4 episode chance, that's good, right? I think that's good. And I'm not the kind to be drawn in if someone says,
"Yeah, you gotta see this anime, man. It becomes insanely good after episode 76.
No way, man. At most, I'll go on YouTube and check out one of those like sped up compilation videos or something. There's been some pretty hyped animes recently that I really wanted to be good. I'm talking about these South Korean webtoon adaptations that were lava scorching hot and everybody was drooling over them like freaking hooch.
It's a bit embarrassing, don't you think?
Tower of God and God of High School. And seriously guys, I don't like them. I just can't get into them. They're not straight up trash though, not at all. More like a raccoon in the dumpster, but it's wearing all Gucci kind of trash. You know what I mean, right? It's well drawn, colorful, smoothly animated, great character designs, the world building is just awesome, but then the execution of the story just fucking And God of High School is the perfect example of that. It's so shallow. It's like there's nothing there content-wise. It's like sticking your fork into a big, juicy grilled steak, but then it turns out it was just filled with air and it collapses into a sorry slab of its former self. There's no proper power system, the pacing is ass, it's shonen trope mania, and neither the characters or the story are properly fleshed out enough. The fights are so inconsistent that the only consistent thing about it is how inconsistent they are. The timing and content of the flashbacks are god-awful. And why the hell are all their noses red for some reason? Do they all have colds? Are they descendants of freaking Rudolph? I did hear that the webtoon is much better than the anime, but I kind of presume that much anyway. It's almost always the case with manga versus anime. And although I absolutely love...
Tournament talk! Tournament talk! It's a f***ing tournament talk! Tournament talk!
This just doesn't cut it for me. Even the freaking Crunchyroll comment section is getting a bit tired of it. And that's gotta be a good sign that I'm not an elitist. I hope. However, I often see the
"If you don't like it, don't watch it"
that kind of mentality, but people aren't even being that harsh, I feel. Because I think we're all watching in hope that a show will become good, sooner or later as it goes on. And people often find themselves being really invested in a show even though it's going downhill. So they keep watching it anyway because they want to see how it ends. And I'm like that too. I hope that the next season's gonna be better, and I want to talk about the good and the bad after I watch an episode, cause it's so much fun exploring the concept of the show together, in a forum, having arguments, stuff like that. It's fine if we don't agree on everything, as long as people aren't being assholes to each other, which I'm not, I think. So what's good anime and manga to me then, you might ask? What does the man on the high horse on top of the golden roof of the ivory tower in the freaking clouds like? That's so goddamn good then, huh?
You piece of shit. You fucking goddamn fucker.
I made a list with highlights and it turned out much more mainstream than I thought. God damn it, I thought I was like this underground special boy, but nah, I'm just a mainstream cunt like everyone else. Alright, so Ghibli. From Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind from 1984 to The Wind Rises in I think it's 2013 or 14, but I think everything in between there are solid movies with very few exceptions of mediocrity. From Makoto Shinkai, I think the only movie there I really like is 5 centimeters per second, but it's mostly just because I could relate. And that damn Yamazaki Masayoshi song came on. Onion cutting ninjas everywhere, man. It's a tough scene. And Mushishi. This is a goddamn fantasy folklore jewel of an anime. An absolute favorite of mine. Shin Angyo Onshi, or Amen Osa, or Blade of the Phantom Master. You know, take your pick. It's a really cool and very, very well drawn fantasy manhwa. Check out some of these pages from the manga. I mean, this is really solid art. But I do have a friend who actually does manga, and she told me that this is very average, especially for Korean manhwa. But I mean, for me it's top tier. This looks awesome to me. Sure, it's not as detailed as maybe Berserk, but it does lean in that direction. And if you like stuff like Berserk, Claymore, Blade of the Immortal, you're gonna love this one, cause the story is very solid too. It has an anime adaptation, which was alright, but it's only of the very first arc of the manga, and it's not good enough in comparison. However, I've always seen Shin Angyo Onshi as the real SAO. That's always what I think of when I hear SAO. But that goddamn Sword Art Online came along and ruined everything. God damn it. Samurai Champloo. This is a no-brainer, I think. I mean, the most swag anime ever. But it also knows when to get serious and has some great fight scenes in there too. Like this one, which is one of my favorites ever. The way they blend in hip-hop, graffiti and modern elements into this anime also really gives it an interesting vibe. Even though it's set in the late samurai era, it never takes away from the story or the overall atmosphere of the show, but instead adds a unique value. I wish more animes would do this too, not necessarily with hip-hop, but with other themes and art. It just works so well. Bone no Zamudo, or
Xammed, Lost Memories, the show that all the cool kids watch. You just got xammed.
Sorry about that. I just get that vibe from the English title, I don't know why. But it's a really cool sci-fi biomech-esque action drama. I don't think it's talked about a lot, but it does have a very high rating on my anime list. It's the same people who did Eureka 7, but if you ask me, this one was much better. This one deals with more adult themes and is a bit more serious, but also more mystical too in its approach to world building. Highly recommended though, so if you like Eureka 7, I'm sure you're gonna like this one too. Vinlon Saga and Berserk. I mean, no explanation needed here, right? Fucking mom's the word, we're already on the same page. Just read the manga and you're good. Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei. So funny, so witty, so subtle but in your face at the same time. It's quite unique, both in its sense of humor and characters. The art style has this stylish simplicity to it as well, with hard contrasts and clothes with these rigid patterns on them. The characters all have very specific roles and personality traits too that really play into each episode. And it often gets deep into how the human mind works in society, or just the world in general. Whether it's about suicide, manners, movie tropes, or whatever, it always gets down to the bottom of a lot of interesting topics, but not in the way that you think it will. FLCL, Fooly Cooly, or Furikuri, mostly nostalgic. It was the first anime I ever saw, but I have rewatched it, and I still think it holds up. There's also a manga for FLCL, but it's even more psychedelic than the anime. And I think there's also been a spin-off, but whatever you do, watch the original anime first. It's really cool. The classic shonens, Yu Yu Hakusho, Hunter x Hunter, Full Metal Alchemist. When it comes to Naruto and Bleach, they're both good as long as you stay away from the animes, okay? Stay away from them. At least skip the fillers, okay? Like, don't damage your brain, don't hurt yourself like this, please. It's just too many flashbacks and shitty storylines, and shitty animation too. Lastly, some honorable mentions: Attack on Titan, Death Note, Mob Psycho, Black Lagoon, Paprika, Katanagatari, Golden Kamui. And if you don't like these, fight me. You know what, actually don't fight me, because I haven't been to the Aikido club or the gym lately, and you know, I'm kind of rusty. I'm trying to do this home workout thing, but it's so half-assed, I haven't been able to get a good pump. Anyway, here's the thing, and this should apply to everyone, and in turn, show that I'm not an elitist, because I can't stand shitty animation, unless the story is great. See 1997 Berserk Golden Age arc animation. And I can't stand shitty or weird art styles, unless the animation and story is great. See Code Geass. And I can't stand shitty stories unless exactly everything else is pretty much flawless. See Onara Goro. I mean, just look at this. This is the real deal when it comes to art and animation. And the dancing, the music, everything is just... I'm just kidding. But this is a real anime you can find on Crunchyroll. It's about a living fart cloud providing words of wisdom for people. Oh, those idol girls in the outro must be really proud to have taken part in such a glorious and well done anime. Oh lordy. Honestly, I want to put God of High School here, but I couldn't stand that one either, so I don't even know. When it comes to openings and endings, I almost always skip. Maybe the first or second time I'll watch it, but there are very few exceptions. One being Sasageyo, because they're almost all the same type of genre, song, lyrics. They're so bland and they're all the same. I'd rather power nap and let my sleep paralysis demon sing for me. But I've actually found out and pinpointed the defining traits that makes me turn down so many shows. So here's my final rant. No matter what the genre is, I need a sense of realism. But not like that, I want the characters to go into another room because they've been holding in a fart for 10 minutes, or forget if they actually lock the front door and have to go check 3 times in a row. Not that type of realism. I'm referring to much simpler stuff, like not every single woman in the show needs to have giant boobs or skin-tight clothes. Not every character needs to have the exact same face. Fan service should be kept to a minimum, and I really dislike when characters just have super unrealistic reactions or just make the worst choices again and again. My absolute pet peeve though, and this happens a lot in all action-based anime and manga, is when mostly the main character gets thrown onto a wall so hard a crater forms behind them. And it's such a common trope that it's almost only there for the visual satisfaction. Like, how is the wall broken but not his body? Like in most cases, even in fantasy and sci-fi anime, they're still considered as being human. And everything just ends up becoming so arbitrary that no matter what the attack is, a punch, gunshot, spell, freaking laser weapons will only do damage depending on plot armor or Deus Ex Machina, which totally ruins the fun for me. If I don't even know if a punch will kill someone or not do any damage at all, like why even have fights at all? It's not even exciting anymore. I need this trend to die. I know it won't, but I want to see more lasting damage, more realistic pain, lots of hard systems when it comes to conditions for spells and weapons. I firmly believe this will make both the story and the characters so much better and so much deeper. So in the end, am I an elitist? Honestly, I don't think so, but I also think I ranted way too much. But yeah, that's it for my shitty analysis. I hope you liked it, and if you did, smash like, subscribe. That's it. See you next time.